Welcome. Let's take you through the details now. President Akufo-Addo has charged the Criminal Investigative Department of the Police Service to swiftly bring to book perpetrators of the chilling murder of Ahmed Hussein-Sule, an investigative journalist with the Tiger Eye PI. Ahmed Hussein worked closely with ace investigative journalist Anas Aremia Anas. He was shot by gunmen on a motorbike Wednesday night whilst he was driving on his way home. He was shot 3 times, according to police, twice in the chest and another in the neck. This afternoon, government has been speaking. We'll be hearing from Information Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah and also read for you a tweet from President Akufo-Addo's Twitter handle that's condemning the gruesome killing. We'll also hear from former President John Mahama, who initially requested that government intervenes in this matter immediately. We're broken but resolute. Well, that's how the private investigative firm Tiger Eye PI reacted to the murder of one of their own. Hussein-Sule was a key member, as we've indicated. So Tiger Eye PI this afternoon issued a statement. I'm going to go through that statement for you quickly before we even go to the family house of Mr. Sule, and then we hear from the former president and the information minister. Now, here's what the statement says. It is titled, Tiger Eye PI team member assassinated. Ahmed Hussein-Sule, an investigative journalist with team member of Tiger Eye PI, was last night assassinated at Medina by 2 gunmen on a motorbike while driving home. The 2 unidentified men fled after shooting Ahmed at close range, twice in the chest and once in the neck, killing him instantly, according to police investigators at Medina. The body, the statement continues to say, has since been conveyed to the police hospital mortuary here in Accra. We commiserate with Ahmed's family on this painful loss and pray that Allah will give them the strength to bear the grief. We at Tiger Eye PI are terribly devastated by the dastardly act, but remain unshaken in our resolve to pursue nation wreckers and make corruption a high-risk activity in the country. We call on the security agencies to unmask the elements behind this assassination and bring them to book. Tiger Eye PI is an award-winning investigative investigative organization based in Accra, Ghana. It is headed by multiple award-winning investigative journalist Anas Aremia Anas, and he goes on to say that our ultimate mission is to uncover the truth wherever it may be and to name, shame and jail the purveyors of crime in our society. Ahmed was an excellent, experienced investigative journalist with our team. His last assignment was number 12, that exposed bribery and corruption and commissions in African football. We're looking forward to the Islamic burial. And it ends there. And as I indicated earlier, this is a statement coming from Tiger Eye PI following that murder of a member of that team. In the meantime, lawyer for the investigative journalist Anas Aremia Anas has been calling on the police to query Asin North MP Kennedy Agyapong, but stopped shy of accusing him of being behind the killing of Tiger Eye PI undercover journalist Ahmed Hussein-Sule.
Lawyer, I deal with evidence. I'm not saying that the certain member of parliament asked people to go kill him. That is not what I'm saying. Be it far from me that I will ever suggest that. But I'm saying that reckless conduct of sitting on your media, putting out a young man's picture there, inviting the world to go beat him up, and that you'll be responsible and pay for it, he should ask questions. The finger that can be pointed at him is he should be called to explain why he did what he did. And if a few months later the young man has been killed in such some circumstances, he has questions to answer. It is not an accusation, but he is the one who invited the world to beat him up. He has been killed now.
So when you
someone should ask him questions.
So when you say someone should ask him questions, you'd like
the authorities, of course.
Okay.
The authorities to ask him questions. A man claims no one is above the law. He cannot also be above the law. No one is above the law. Should be asked questions.
Since you want someone to ask him questions, would you be lodging an official complaint with the authorities?
We'll advise ourselves on that.
Okay, so that decision has not been made yet?
It's not everything that I put out in public, but we'll advise ourselves on that.
Now, what about your client's organization? Clearly, the security implications and the arrangements for your organizations must change.
He's aware of all that. He's aware of the risk. And indeed, you pointed out earlier that that's the reason why he wears a mask to begin with. And so he doesn't expose himself and his operatives unnecessarily to public curiosity and public scrutiny. Otherwise, they'll be putting their lives in danger. And so the investigative team is very much aware of all that, and they're taking steps to ensure their further security. So,
Kennedy Agyapong is lawyer for Anas Arimiao Anas. Well, he's calling for the Member of Parliament for Assin Central to be questioned. That man is speaking right now in our sister station, Asempa FM. Let's go live there now.
Anas is a criminal. And a lawyer also defend the criminals. But how about someone's reaction, is to also sway attention from you to other people. I don't have a problem. If that's how you feel it, take it. But let them go ahead with the investigation. And if me, Kennedy Agyapong, they'll see a finger. Now, I'll be the most stupid person. Baby, this guy is irrelevant in my life. For me to go and do a kill him, because me, question you touch him no go woman must. Me go woman must. Footballers no go woman must. Referees me go woman must. Ghana England no go woman must. Me go woman must. But I wanted people to know the people Anas used to destroy good people of this country. That is why I showed his face. And you have no regret for showing him at all, because until send the name na obia entrally nunkonkokuno. Would you say or admit say usho na name nti na amasa ade yesi? I would never admit adentia. Yeah, because onwa kasa ni suban a wodi nam no will probably have given him away. Ebia wa offendi obi o pay ni back. I don't know. But onipa na okun no onim no very well. Because yesi wo ko fio say and na ono trike mu. And yes, obi the moto. Because like Anas, no, you be on also nama adie katenanim. Into until send the nimbeba out, ne bianca confo yanesa. Anas, meka nipa Ahmed na we no. I go for anything. So he's been what be say Juma way. What be say a Juma boy no oye. Or a member of either IPI. What be say only will be a problem. You see, we should begin to probe into this. The moment you jump to say Kennedy Agyapong show nanim award TV sunti enunti and asem right there. What setting nipa na okodi bonino? Will you avail yourself for police? I don't have a problem at all, because hey, I'll stand for the truth anytime, any given time.
That is Kennedy Agyapong, Member of Parliament for Assin Central, there on our sister station, Asempa FM, responding to what has just happened this morning. Well, I could just go through quickly what he says. He says that investigations should continue and that he wouldn't be the one who to commit such an offense based on what he believes, where he believes he's come, how far he believes he's come. He says that he put the picture of Mr. Ahmed Sule on his media platforms to expose what he's calling wrongdoing, and then he also says that he would never admit that he gave this gentleman away by putting photos of him in the media. He said the gentleman probably had wronged someone and that person may have tracked him down. Well, that is the Member of Parliament there. Let's now head to the residence of the deceased Ahmed Sule, where family members have been calling on government to quickly investigate the matter. Maxwell Agbagba has just returned from Medina here in Accra. Here's what he found.
About 15 personnel of the Criminal Investigations Department have visited the crime scene, and what they are doing is that they're picking very crucial information and evidence connected to this case. They've been speaking to first respondents and then eyewitnesses. But behind me is where the deceased used to sit with some of his friends to discuss various issues ranging from politics to social issues. Yesterday, it was the same thing. Sometime around 9 p.m. when he was with his friends here The assassins, we are told, were lurking around in the neighborhood. Just when the deceased was heading out of this place, they accosted him and then shot him through his car. We've been speaking to some family members who are calling for justice. They say in the past there was a threat on his life.
Actually, what happened yesterday, after work, we all gather at this place. That's where we just sit. Sometimes we can sit there till 2:00 a.m. before we all disperse. That is when it's Friday, that's weekends. We can sit up to 2 a.m. before we disperse. And yesterday, what happened exactly, we were here, and when he received a call that one of his children is not feeling well. So he reported that he was going to take the boy to the hospital. So he took his car. As he was approaching the junction, we heard a gunshot. So we were saying, oh, why are they still doing knockouts when the Christmas is over? And before we could realize, a gentleman ran towards us and said, oh, they have killed your brother. We rushed to the scene and we found him in the car. I think because they shot him, he was forced to cross the road and hit the other store.
We are calling on central government to ensure justice is done. This is a threat to all the journalists in this country. This is a threat to justice. And government must use its authority and ability and capacity to ensure we get that justice in time and not. There should be no delay on this. Sure. The guy has a family. The family has no authority. We don't have the capacity to fight whoever has made threat on his life. Yes. Those who have the world without money and political power, we are sure they are behind us. But as to who specifically, we will not be able to mention. Definitely. And that is why we are relying on government heavily to ensure we get justice. Or else we ourselves will demand the justice in a way that is appropriate to us. Justice must be given to us as immediate as possible, and that is what we demand for. People cannot just come out and start killing individuals just because they have authority and power. Guns, we have no idea where they got their guns from. We have no idea who authorized them to come and do the killing. But what we know is we are powerless, but God is there. And God is with us in this fight. And government must be with us, or else government will be exposed. If government wants us to have peace, government wants us to have peace in this country, criminals of this sort must be tracked down. So we are pleading with government to do the right thing. But everybody is more or less exposed to the facts out there. Evidence is out there. People have made threats on TV. But because of security reasons and caution of police, we will not be able to speak to them. I am sure the police service will investigate and call all persons that they deem fit to be investigated. And I'm sure the media will help us to make the necessary follow-ups as the case go by.
Some eyewitnesses we've been speaking to here say that the two assassins actually bought a drink from this pub. They had opportunity to sip their drinks here before they committed the dastardly act. We are told that they sat here for close to 7 hours waiting for the deceased to show up.
They came in to ask for origin. They said, I don't have origin. They said, what about the bitters itself? And I said, I don't have the bitters. So they went out, they came to the motor. I don't know who drove the motor. Then it was parked here. So they went back. There was the woman that was selling was just sitting here, and she gave the information that they've parked their motor. So I was given an eye to the motor. They are going to the down there to buy what they asked for. So they went. Later, they give me another information. They are sitting here. And I said, okay, maybe they've got what they want. So they were just sitting over there. I don't know how to know what that they were doing there. And I was just sitting inside. Later in the evening, then I don't know how a friend came to me that we should go for some kelewele. So we all with the guys were here eating the kelewele, and I said I'm not satisfied with the kelewele, so let me go to the roadside and get something that can sustain me for the night. So I went there and I just had some kinky. And I was coming back, so I just handed the gunshot. That gunshot I thought for the knockout. So that was even behind me. But later I saw a crowd and they said this and that has happened.
There was a bin there at the wall, behind the wall. Yeah. So they came there and they parked the motor and they sit on it. So we were sitting here from 3 o'clock to 9 p.m. in the evening. So I came out that time like 8 o'clock, and my mom told me, say, some 2 men came here. They were sitting there for so long and they don't know who they are. So us too, we didn't do anything because we don't know them. So we are sitting here for 9 o'clock, 9 p.m., 9:30. Like we saw them moving their motor, let's say 10 p.m. So I was giving someone, a friend, direction to my place. They were holding the car. They just came back from America and they don't know the place where I'm staying right now. So I just give them the direction. So I was standing at the roadside with my brother. And the motor was parked at the roadside behind the signboard on the left. And I saw a car coming back from me, behind me. And I was standing at the roadside making a call. So what I know is the car parked at the junction, looking the other side to the other side. He was about to turn on the left, on his left, his left to taxi rank. Okay, so I was standing there watching the driver and the motor guys, two guys. So one of them was standing at the signboard on the left, where the driver was about to blanch. And I saw the man point a gun on the driver on the right, the left side. So he shot the gun, and the driver stepped the distance, what do you call it, the accelerator. So he was about to blanch when the gun hit the person. So he goes straight, and in the middle of the road, he went back there and shot the gun the second time. So the guy goes straight to the gutter, straight to the store. And the guy went back there and shot him the third time. So that time, when after that, a guy wanted to approach them, when they pointed the gun at them, wanted to shoot them if anybody come close to them. So we were standing there and watching them. We didn't do anything. All the cars which was coming, passing and going, all them stopped. They couldn't approach them. So we were standing there watching them when they left, and we went to the car and we called the policeman, Madina policeman.
I was told some assailants just shot my brother here. I said, wow, this is serious. Then we have to just follow up this because it has a history. Remember the number 12 incident, when one legislature came out and threatened that this guy, all those things, because he's doing his work, they have to kill him. We saw that the state didn't do anything about it because we didn't hear any invitation by that person because some people feel they are all this thing. So we just relaxed, just to hear that our brother is dead. What we demand from the government is justice. We know, we are not going to say we don't know anybody who is around it. We know the Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, who issued threat on our brother, is behind this thing. But we want the law to take it on. We hear the police is telling us that. The police is saying we should come with evidence. Please, this is a state matter. The police should act. They should not wait for somebody. They should act to let us know.
The deceased was actually in his car waiting to negotiate this curve, here. But we were told that assassins got closer to him and shot him through the car window. His leg was still on the accelerator, so the car crossed this road and then hit this salon just some meters away from this place.
Maxwell Agbagba with that report from the neighborhood and indeed the home of Mr. Ahmed Hussein-Sule. Well, this afternoon the pressure is still mounting, especially on the police, to swiftly investigate this matter. The Ghana Journalists Association, National Media Commission have been speaking. We'll also be engaging President of the GJA, Afil Moni, on this show. But earlier he addressed a news conference. Let's hear him.
The elimination of Ahmed passes as Ghana's version of the infamous killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. This is indeed a sad day for not only the media fraternity in Ghana, but the country as a whole. Colleagues in the media, this is not the first time journalists have been murdered in cold blood in recent memory. In addition to rampant assaults against journalists in recent times, sent a worrying signal that the media are under serious attack in an area when civility and rule of law are expected to reign the thoughts and actions of our society. In the light of the foregoing, and in order to restore a sense of hope and security in the media fraternity, as well as clear the soiled image of Ghana that the murder of Ahmed will certainly cause, the GJA calls on the Ghana Police Service to, as a matter of priority and urgency, launch a full-scale investigation into the killing of Ahmed. The killers must be made to face the full rigors of the law. We also appeal to His Excellency the President, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as the head of the executive arm of government, to take personal interests in seeing to the bottom of this matter. Furthermore, we call on Parliament as representatives of the people to take the necessary actions that would instill a sense of safety, not only in the media, but also among the general populace of Ghana. We also urge the judiciary to deal mercilessly with anyone found guilty of such heinous crimes.
The DJA's President Afil Moni calling for merciless sanctions for the perpetrators when found, while Information Minister Kojo Oppong says violence against journalists and media practitioners must not be tolerated. He has also been condemning this act.
Has been drawn to the gruesome killing of Ahmed Hussein, an undercover journalist who worked for the Tiger IPI organization headed by ace investigative journalist Anas Aremeyaw. The sad incident, we're told, happened on Wednesday, January 16th at Medina, suburb of Accra. Ahmed Hussein is alleged to have been gunned down by unknown assailants while he drove home. Government condemns this heinous and barbaric act. We are aware that the police have begun investigations into the incident. We, however, urge the security agency to quicken their investigations and bring the perpetrators to book. Violence against journalists and media practitioners must not be tolerated. 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 Be tolerated.
That is the Information Minister Kojo Oppong Nkrumah there. Well, presidents have been speaking. Former President John Mahama is expressing shock about this incident. He wants the security agencies to be up and doing to unravel the circumstances that led to especially a similar killing of the head of PR of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and a deputy managing director of the Ghana Water Company, all within this month. We can hear Mr. Mahama now.
This morning we woke up to hear very sad news that a journalist, well-known journalist who works with Anas Aremeyaw, he closed from work, he was driving home in his car, a group of people on a motorcycle crossed him, stopped and shot him to death in his car. And I'm saying that for a democracy like Ghana, that has gained a worldwide reputation as the model of democracy in Africa, things like this should not happen. Journalists should not be killed in cold blood because of the work they do. But recently there's been a spate of killings, and we urge the government and the investigative agencies to be up and doing and bring these perpetrators of these dastardly actions to justice. There's a lady who works with Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority who was recently killed in her bedroom at night. And so we urge our police service. We know they are very capable people, and so we urge our police service, our CID, and our BNI to be up and doing and bring those who have committed these crimes to justice. There are other deaths. A deputy managing director of Ghana Water Company was killed. Other deaths have occurred recently. It creates a state of insecurity and fear in our country, and I think that government should pay attention to this. Madam Wase,
So that is former President John Mahama there. We'll tell you what President Akufo-Addo has been speaking, what he's been tweeting about this. I will read to you the president's tweet shortly, but I have a conversation in the studio with security analyst Adam Bona is always available for us, so we can have a conversation. We'll look specifically about this issue and then look at the bigger picture about securing ourselves. What really is happening and what are the typical signs to look out for to keep yourself safe. Mr. Bona, thank you very much for your time this afternoon here on The Pulse. Yeah. Let me begin by asking you about the eyewitnesses report. Well, first of all, what are your thoughts as a security person when you see or hear the story that has happened, the way it happened today? What comes to mind immediately?
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon to your cherished viewers. It saddens me to come into the studio today to talk about a fine young man, you know, executed, assassinated by probably could be anyone. And so for me, my condolences to the family. Okay. And I think I've seen a tweet from the president. I think the president can go beyond just tweeting. Okay. And making a statement on that, because I did listen to, I think, your 3 o'clock BBC something, Joy, your sister station, and the BBC did carry this killing as one of their firsts, you know. And so for me, I think that it is something that, just like it happened in Turkey, where the journalist from Saudi Arabia was murdered in cold blood, you know, it gained, you know, was given that international
and
prominence.
It's actually gained a lot of traction, yes. which should actually be the case.
I'm expecting the president to make a bold statement. Okay. And probably this young man shouldn't die in vain. You probably was running a public service. This is something that agencies paid in this country are supposed to be doing, that some of them are doing.
Okay, so since you mentioned the president's response, the kind of response that someone like you want the presidency to, or you want the president to speak, to say, let's get on Twitter and check out what President Akufo-Addo has been saying about this incident. Well, that's the president's tweet. He says, I've learned with sadness of the killing of Ahmed Hussein-Sule, an associate of investigative journalist Anas Armia Anas. I condemn the act unreservedly and extend my condolences to his family. I expect the police to bring to book as soon as possible the perpetrators of this heinous crime. Once again, my heartfelt condolences, President Akufo-Addo. So you say this is not enough?
It's not enough. The president, I think Parliament is going to be going back pretty soon, and is going to be ushering Parliament in with a State of the Nation's address. I think I'm expecting to have the president or his speech writers to put in how probably journalists and those who perform voluntary public services to ensure that the public purse is protected, how they are going to be protected.
How they're going to be protected. We'll wrap this conversation up with that bit of protecting ourselves, not just as journalists, but this could happen to anybody else. But we've played eyewitnesses reports. Usually, what should the treatment of such eyewitnesses reports say? So we have a lady who is talking about how she saw these gentlemen sit on a bench over there for a while, took a couple of drinks, after which they saw these same gentlemen jump on their motorbike, rush towards the gentleman who was driving out, and then shot at him. She also speaks about how the gentleman in the area tried to accost them, but of course they have a gun, so you couldn't just go that way. Usually in such a case, how should eyewitness reports be treated?
Yeah, well, we live in a country where things are done the other way around. If not, I think I monitored it from your, in there, where I think your colleague Maxwell interviewed some these are key eyewitnesses, so, And so the police by now we should have had probably how many CID and police, uniformed police officers on the ground, inviting witnesses what did anyone see? Come and tell us what you saw. And so once probably you give your witness statement, they tell you probably not to talk to anyone. And the reason being that if you have a journalist go into the ground because the police have failed to do what they have to do, then chances are that the crime scene investigation is going to be heavily compromised.
Well, what we saw the persons branded in CID apparel on the ground as well. So we can give that to the police, that they were there. The police personnel were there on the ground as well as the journalists. But then, typically, what will the police be looking out for in this case to make it fast?
They will be sat down drunk at a spot per your reporter's account. They moved around. People might have seen them. The police should be looking at how they look like, what language are they speaking. Did they leave? Did they touch any bottles? If they're drunk, what do you call it? We are told they sat down and took a drink. And so this is the time the police might have to go in and check, probably confiscate at a certain time all bottles that these people might have started, because then they will leave information, fingerprints on it. So they will size all of them to try and run it through their data to see if some of these people might be ex-convicts. So it makes it easy for them to be able to track them. And also, I'm expecting that by now, national security is one thing most people don't know, but national security is supposed to be informed when every CCTV camera that is pointing outside your home, pointing by the street, pointing by some pillar on the street, on the road, national security is supposed to be informed. It is for the purpose of this. If you remember, there was this shooting incident or bombing incident during the marathon in the US where, you know, something happened. Within minutes, the agents were able to get the footage of what happened through, I think, a cafeteria, you know, a cafeteria or something like that, restaurant.
Well, we don't know at the moment whether or not, you know, usually now what happens, the trend is that when anything happens, people have their mobile phones and then they're videoing, but we don't know whether that happened. So the police should be looking at
somebody saw something, somebody heard something, somebody has information, somebody might be afraid. So I believe that if the police could, you know, if it's a 1,000-meter radius, every CCTV on that stretch, you know.
Well, are there any CCTVs in this area? I doubt.
Well, you definitely would have to go onto the main road to come off the untarred road or to come into some of these areas. And these days, shops and banks are installing them. And so you go in there quickly as possible so you don't have image over, you know, writing, because once they overwrite, it becomes difficult. You need to go and do backup and try to, you know, capture the data that is erased. And so it is important that the police is able to put a strategy in place to gather as quickly as possible, as much information as possible, to be able to apprehend, have an idea of what is going on, because, you know, we've had this month alone 3, you know, suspected
which is what
killings.
I was coming to. We've seen the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the PRO there. We heard that she was in her home, in her room, in her house, and she was found dead the next morning. We've also heard about the director of the Ghana Water Company in the northern region, and then we've seen what happened with this gentleman. So that's just this month. People are saying that it looks like, if you look at the trend, it's looking more like contract killing. Typically, do these things that have happened satisfy you know, the requirements for what you can call a contract killing?
It's only when it prolongs, then you begin to suspect, you know, you have the conspiracy theories coming in that this could be linked to some contract killing. But I believe that the police, if the police are going to do a good job, the one that happened in Tema, they could probably eliminate that so that that doesn't come under the, you know, the contract killing theory.
But wouldn't that rather be a key part of it, because this, especially when nothing was stolen?
No, what I'm trying to say is that they, according to the police, the lady, they found semen in the lady, and the gentleman, some people have been arrested. And so it is important that, I've been saying it, within 48 hours, 72 hours, we should have their initial report telling us, you know, what they've been able to unravel. And so that, you see, if they are able to tell us, just picking somebody's body fluid or blood sample, and, you know, you're able to connect that semen they found in the woman to see whether it matches the suspect they've arrested. If it doesn't match, you'll quickly begin to... But
so the point you're making was that it's important for the police to quickly work out this investigation so they can put it aside?
So they put it aside to see whether, so for us to not begin to conjecture and say they are connected. Okay. Once that is done, then we say, okay, we have 2 unsolved killings this month. But when they are all put together, then they look similar. Then you say, okay, this hasn't been resolved, that hasn't been resolved, and therefore it is okay to say it comes and because contract killing is a serious thing. Means you have hired assassins who go around taking money and, you know, assassinating people. And for me, I mean, serial killers usually might not necessarily be hired assassins or contract killers. Serial killers, they are people who are psychopaths, people who have some, excuse me to say, mental problems, and they want to kill people who look either tall, short, fair.
They have their own fantasies of who they want to eliminate.
And so we need to know, is this some serial killing going on? Is it some, what do you call it, contract killing, or these are not related? We need to know.
Okay, we need to know. Yeah. So well, we need to know whether or not we can put all this together and say there's some kind of contract killing ongoing. And the police, it all really depends on the police from what we've discussed here. Mr. Bona, let's wrap up this conversation about how we stay safe. I mean, I don't know. Let's share some tips with our viewers. I mean, not just journalists. Indeed, journalists, because of the kind of work we do, we're usually exposed to some of these things. But how do we stay safe looking at the trend, what's happening just this year, just this month?
So, for instance, today I was in my car and a colleague of yours on another network said, oh, I was in my car and some people came there and knocked at the window, and the next day I went and did something to my car, and now I'm carrying my firearm on me. I'll try and speak to that presenter and tell him that never tell people you have a firearm. It's a safety tip. Okay. Never tell people you have a firearm. If indeed people are going to take your life and you have a firearm and they know, then that element of surprise, you lose it. And so they'll fire at you first.
So they'll come prepared.
They'll come prepared because they know you have a firearm. Okay. And so it's one of the safety precautions. I've seen people, you know, publicly showing their firearm. It is something that I guess they feel that it will deter people. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Unless the person does not want to come for you. If the person wants to come for you when you're in the chopper. When the finger you are going to use to pull the trigger is in the fufu and we put the bullet in you. And so I think these are things people shouldn't do. I've had people, either they have the pump action shotguns or sidearms, in the night when there is some commotion, they fire into the air. Yeah. Don't do that. Okay. If you do it, you are going to have, instead of 2 armed robbers coming to break your door, they come in with all guns blazing.
Okay, so that's one.
So that's one.
Never let people know that
people know you are armed. And don't shoot in the air. Don't do that. It's not necessary. And then the other one has to do with, you are driving. How many of us check behind us who is following us? I'm sure these people would have monitored this driver for some time. I mean, I'm usually skeptical when I am in traffic and I see, you know, a motor rider who, instead of swerving and doing their normal thing, trying to slow down, what I do is that I am ready, probably, I don't know what you are going to do. Do I have to smash you? Depending on what you are going to do. And so these are things that we shouldn't be doing. And at home, this woman, I'm sure, hired somebody to work in her home. What vetting took place? Most people don't do vetting. Most people show a lot of money. People go for, what do you call it, mobile money, and they are in Trotro or Mikuta, Makwaji, 10,000. People will chase you and shoot at you and take the money. You know, we try to show off, and so the show off is something we should stop. And at home, instead of flowers, I think we should try to enforce our doors. And instead of using, what do you call it, concrete, what do you call it, flower pot, let's use the clay flower pots. Why? Because the concrete flower pots are heavier, and so when they lift it, they use it as a tool to break into your door. But the clay one, when they smash it, is lighter. It doesn't work. And apart from that, I think that every home should have its own strongest and safetiest point. In your house, it doesn't matter if your room is a 1-bedroom, you are in a single room. That single room, there could be a window there could be a window there, and at the back of the room, there is no window. And so if there was anyone who was coming after you, The place you are likely to go and hide at won't be close to a window, would be where you have concretes. And so if you have 2 rooms, chamber and a hall, the better. It means that you need to identify a place that you think would be the safetiest in the house. And also let people know where you are going to. And when you are coming, let people know you are coming. If you feel you are not safe or someone seems to be following you, these days we have police officers who mount barriers. Just stop there and talk to them and tell them that, you know, I think there's somebody following me. Usually, when I feel that way, what I do is I stop by and I converse with them and I ask them to get a patrol team to escort me, and they will do it to escort and I'll continue. Okay. And so those are some of the things people should be doing. Simple tips. Right. And then most importantly, if you can afford, put in the CCTVs, the alerts, you know, intruder alarms, wireless intruder alarm systems, the things that, you know, would wake you up before someone takes, you know, hits on you.
These are very insightful, Mr. Bona. These are really, really insightful. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. So I'm going to go quickly through what he just said. He says, never show that you have a firearm. Never boast about it. Never give people the impression that you even have it, because then they come prepared and you take away the element of surprise when they want to attack you. It says, look out for those following you, especially when you're driving. Be very mindful when you're driving, and you need to vet domestic workers, and this is based on what happened in Tema. You need to vet domestic workers. Don't just bring anybody in your home to be your garden boy or your maid or whatever. Vet them very well. Go for clay flower pots instead of concrete, because clay is less heavier, and usually they use the concrete flower pots to break your doors. But if you use the clay, it's much lighter and they won't be able to break it. Have a point of safety at home where you know that you have a place of escape if anything happens, or you have a place to hide if anything happens in your home. A place of safety at your home, and communicate the timing of your movement with family so that when they know you're not coming at this time and someone is knocking on your door, you know that it's not that person. I hope that really works. And also inform the police if you suspect that you are being followed. Now there are police patrol who go on patrols in our neighborhoods, etc. Look out for them, be friends with them, and let them know if you're being patrolled. Finally, he says to look out for home alert systems that help you protect your home. CCTVs, alarms, anything. Just keep safe. Mr. Bona, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Adams Bona is a security analyst there helping us with this information. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty, and up here. We're going to take a break, but we're not.